Hey
Hola,
guys.
amigos. Oh. ¿Cómo estás? Me llamo Adrián.
Muchacho and muchachas. Welcome
Back.
to
Our favorite
podcast.
podcast.
I'm Sarah, and I sound funny because I'm recovering from a cold, and I think I sound extremely nasally. But Adrian says I sound normal.
I think you
So
sound
I don't
fine.
know what
Nasally,
to take offense to.
to me, is like Squidward. Like
SpongeBob.
SpongeBob.
You should be a Squidward for Halloween.
Oh my god.
I'm with my co-host.
Adrian, whoa.
Woo.
Today we are doing a Q&A with some questions submitted by our 103 subscribers on YouTube.
Woohoo.
How does that make you feel, honestly?
I actually felt like obviously coming in, I didn't really have expectations. So seeing the number grow after each time we post, basically, I was like, what? Like, there are actually people that are beyond like our friends and family that are taking the time to subscribe.
I was actually going to say, I think majority is still our friends and family, but the fact that our friends and family still listen to it.
That's true.
Like,
Yeah.
sometimes like friends just like subscribe for like the shits and giggles.
Mm-hmm.
But I was talking to this one friend, he like listens to it when he does like chores and shit. And
Wait,
I'm like,
that's so cute.
damn, dude, I appreciate that, you know?
Thanks. Yeah, I definitely have some of those friends too. They'll like report back and they're like, I'm
Yeah.
on this episode. And
Yeah,
I'm like, oh, that's awesome.
And I know like what we say is like complete like shit, you know, like this probably 90% of our content is no like
Value.
yeah,
Sustenance.
I mean, this is like in a way like our like video diary, you know, of just like
Yeah.
our phases and shit, you know.
I like to think of it as like if you're bored, you can just come hang out with us. And this is
Shoot the shits.
Wait,
yeah.
but how do you feel about
No,
our
same. I
milestone?
think like, dude, I actually grand scheme of things, if we're being like completely like just like objective, which I need to do less of, 100 is like in the grand scheme of things very small. But like the other day I was just doing some like podcast, just like research. I was just like on YouTube like browsing around, and I saw another podcast that was like even smaller than ours, but they were also like consistently posting and whatnot. And then I was like, damn, like I should just be thankful of where we are no matter what step of the process that we're in.
Totally, yeah.
You know, like it's just like I don't know when we're gonna do one of these reflection episodes again, but also just like I'm so proud of us, you know.
Yeah, I think that's such a healthy mindset, and I feel like not being so like having goals but not like operating only out of like I'm only going to be happy or feel fulfilled from making this if we hit certain goals. And what I was going to say was I feel like with YouTube, because at this point, yes, it's a podcast and it primarily is a podcast, but the fact that we're on YouTube makes it YouTube videos as well. And I feel like on YouTube, it's inevitable to grow as long as you're producing somewhat of quality and value, like even like the smallest bit.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And like as long as you're consistent with it, like there is an audience that will follow.
And I think that's what we're doing, like playing the long. I mean, again, we're not doing this to like be monetized or have like 1 million subscribers and whatnot. But yeah, it's just like as long as we enjoy doing this going forward, I think that's all that matters, right?
Yeah. Do you think anything would change if we had 1 million subscribers? Like, how would you feel?
Wow, that's a hard question. I think at that point, I would try to use our platform for more meaningful things.
Yeah, that's true because you have your audience. You can
Yeah.
reach a lot more people.
I still think like at the end of the day, you and I have different goals for like why we're doing this. But I mean, like obviously, like we're here to like enjoy the process and whatnot. But if we're talking like, for example, 50-year plan for the podcast, like I'm sure like our goals differ
50
at some
year.
point. What are we, like 70 at this point?
Oh my gosh.
Jesus. But like yeah, I think it's like at some point our plans do deviate to some degree.
Why do you say that?
I mean, do you know like what your end goal for like what you imagine the podcast to be, or like this space for you to be? Or
Some
your
ideas.
Yeah, go for it.
I guess one is like establishing a community. Like I think a lot of like growing in my 20s, sometimes it just feels really lonely. So like being able to have a group of people that like maybe share a similar sense of humor, but also like can share with each other the struggles and the challenges, the ups and downs of growing in the 20s as like an Asian American. Like I think that would be really nice. So that would look like, obviously it would be like the people in the podcast, but then like the
Yeah,
comments and like the community there and how we can interact with them would be really cool to see evolve. Maybe a subset of something that could be done with a podcast if it ever gets to the point where it's like monetizes, like some of the proceeds or whatever go towards certain charities that we like find or feel like we really like their mission or something. But yeah, I don't know. Not like super fleshed out, but just like ideas bouncing around is mostly revolved around community. But what about you?
Yeah. I think for me, first of all, I think that's amazing. I think our generation needs a little more of that. I think our Asian Americans, we need to learn how to express ourselves. So I think this podcast is a great way to do that. And I hope that even if you're not Asian American, that you still feel like celebrated and seen by us, because I mean, like at the end of the day, like we're humans. Like there's more to people and friendships than just being Asian American.
Totally.
For me, my ultimate goal, I think at the end of the day, my goal is to promote health literacy. And that sounds very like scientific and maybe potentially boring, but even under the realm of health literacy, I just look at so many of my patients and I'm like, if you knew about this like earlier, you wouldn't be in this like situation.
Oh yeah.
I think with like Andrew Huberman, all of them, the DOAC and stuff, they bring so much value to your life. Like they have really interesting guests, they have really salient points. But yeah, I think just like, I mean, after this, I'm going to pitch you a couple series ideas because I think there's something we can do. But I think health literacy is like one of the biggest ones. I just want people to be healthier, happier, like in the age where like, you know, people are running, you know, our parents are getting older. Like what are the best ways that we can take care of them, you know, like becoming more literate with like health insurance, the government, all that stuff, I think.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
To some of our viewers, it might be boring, but to me, I see that as so like relevant and just like adding value, you know?
Totally. And I mean, I feel like there is an audience and a population out there where like that would be interesting and like be really beneficial for people. And honestly, like for the lay person, that is, a lot of those topics are really beneficial. Like obviously you have a perspective that like average people don't have access to.
Something that I started doing for our podcast is like researching other like kind of two-man podcasts. And then like Rebecca recommended JOMO, like Joy of Missing Out. Do you listen to them at all?
I listened to a couple episodes.
Honestly, I love them. Like if anything, I feel more inspired by them for doing this podcast. Because I used to listen to like, well, I still do, like the dating podcasts or like those like mid-20s, whatever, but they're like in their late 20s, early 30s, and they're like talking about balancing like creator life and like a career, and they're like in the tech world, and it's just like I'm not in that world, but I find it like so interesting to just hear about their experiences and whatnot.
Theirs is more like personal story based, right? Like not like they research certain things.
I mean, I think there's both. Sometimes they have like really funny episodes like dating in the workplace, or one of the guys, he's like recently single, or like him being a hoe, but then also like they'll talk about like how to be an investor, like investor in a company, or like they'll talk about the differences between like, I mean, I'm just being a nerd right now, but it's like, I think they have a good balance between like funny, like being an influencer, like being an adult, you know?
Yeah,
we'll see what happens.
It sounds like some of the stuff that you're thinking about doing would require a little bit more like planned.
Yeah,
things.
totally. But for now, I love the TTYL podcast. So that's what we're here to do. So Sarah and I have a couple questions for each other, and then we're going to be going down a list of questions that you guys gave us. And again, like, thank you for interacting with us. We don't ever expect anything like this, so any effort, any like communication is always like appreciated.
Especially the comments. Those are so fun to read. So, Adrian, what are you gaslighting yourself about lately?
Okay, this is going to sound really stupid. So I started work 3 weeks ago, and then I'm just so freaking tired when I come home, and I think that's my excuse for not doing certain things. But then the issue is like when it bleeds into the weekend, I'm like, oh my god, I need 1 day to recover. But I'm like, you know what, I'm actually okay, I could just go. So I think that's something I'm trying to just change my mindset on. And also like even just being at home, just like hang out with you guys and whatnot. Like I chose to live with you guys for a reason. If I want to live alone, I could totally just like live alone, you know?
Wait, so is it more of like a physical tiredness or like a mental setback?
I think it's mental. I think like back in college, I had even more tiring days, and I would still just like fucking, you know? And then in this era where I'm not as much, I can definitely just like put on an outfit and go, you know?
Dang. Do you want like people to push you?
I don't know. Rebecca tried to drag me out to something recently. But you know what the issue is? I think I let you guys know what my boundaries are, and you guys
Mhm.
know not to cross my boundaries.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's like maybe if I want you guys to, I'm not gonna blatantly tell you. I don't know.
It's kind of like me going out. Like you kind of have to like
Yeah,
keep
like
pestering for
I
a
think
bit.
if you were like, yeah. If you were like, oh my god, like
Come
I'm
on.
going out, like we could use more like guy energy, and I'm like,
Okay, yeah, but if you were sure you would say no, you would be like absolutely not.
right. I think if I like
Yeah.
even consider it, like
It's probably
I probably want to
be
go. Yeah.
okay.
I'm
But it's just like you need to be like teased out.
yeah, like I'm
Okay.
gaslighting myself to stay in the apartment
Yeah.
because I'm tired or I talk to too many patients.
Okay, but also like yes, and the fact that like you did just start working 3 weeks ago, and that is a huge lifestyle transition, and like you're going from like 0 to 100, like you're just being physically and mentally occupied so much more than you're used to. So totally valid to feel like you need some time to adjust, but I guess it's like the concern is hopefully that doesn't become the norm, and hopefully it's just like a little phase of adjustment.
Like I see my dad come home from work and he doesn't want to talk to my mom. He just wants to watch YouTube videos. And I'm like, I'm already at that at a younger age and doing less work than my dad. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with me? So
You're
I'm
like judging him so hard.
I just need people to pull me out and I will go.
Okay, you heard it here.
I will say planning something after a week of work is I don't think I'm there yet, like mentally.
Like you planning something?
Yeah, I think I
Okay.
need like maybe 2 more months to like fully connect my brain to what I want.
What if other people plan it?
That's different. You can drag me out.
Oh,
But if
okay,
it's like,
okay.
oh, Adrian, where are we going to? Like, which bar are we going to?
Yeah.
I'd be like, okay, I'll just stay home. Do you have anything
Okay, well,
you're
that's good to
gaslighting
know.
yourself?
Well, I guess my gaslighting was that I'm fine.
Oh, do you want to talk about that or no?
Sure. So, updates. I started therapy this week, and I'm grateful to Adrian and my roomies for their support and encouragement to really get on that, because it's been like 3 months since my breakup, and basically I was like going through, I feel like the normal healing process of like the ups and downs, like 2 steps forward, 1 step back kind of thing. Like there were times where I was like really, really sad, but then like, you know, I picked myself back up and like talked to friends and roomies and was able to come out of it a little bit. So then I thought I was kind of doing okay enough that like I could just like survive. And then I had another breakdown that Adrian walked in on. And then that entire rest of the night, when I tell you I was like crying the rest of that night.
Oh yeah, I was like, do you want to be in a meeting or not? You're like, I do.
Wait, no, I did, but the fact that you were like, don't come to the podcast meeting, just like take time to heal. I was like, no, I like mentally prepped myself to be able to do that, because it was also like a nice distraction to be able to do something. And then you were like, no. And then I was like, oh man.
You
I
don't
started
want
crying
me
again.
like how he didn't want me.
So sensitive. But yeah, so I was gaslighting myself by thinking that I was gonna be okay without therapy. But my other barrier was that therapy is really expensive, so I was like, I don't know if I'm ready to like bite that bullet. But then my first step was just like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna see how much it is first before I decide it's too expensive. And it is still expensive, but I feel like it's worth it.
I will say with my therapy, so it was like free it was free up to 10 visits. I did realize after maybe visit 5, I felt a lot better and I could self-manage myself. Because at some point, I feel like what I'm going to you for, I either already knew like the answer to that, or what I was complaining about was like the same old things. And I feel like at some point you're able to develop the skills to like self-manage. And then like you don't have to go through, was it 6 visits, 8 visits?
Mine's 8, yeah.
Like if you
8-week
stop, can
program.
you like get the money
Yeah,
back?
I can.
Oh, yeah,
It's
yeah.
paid per visit, yeah.
Yeah, then
Actually, yeah. No, that's totally valid. And I think like when I think about going to a therapy program for like 8 weeks, I'm like, that's not a lot. But that's totally true. It's actually a hefty amount. Because I remember when I did life coaching, I don't remember how many I did, but I would say after like just several of them, I feel like I have enough tools to work with for now. So yeah, that's a good point. I'll keep that in mind as I go through.
what has been your favorite episode so far?
Ooh. Oh my gosh. It's between our roomie episode or the Reddit one.
Why did you like those?
They're more like game fun based, and there's, I guess, more dynamic. The Reddit one is fun because it's like you're debating, thinking through scenarios. The roomie one is fun because we're like exposing each other and just like having our normal fun Ruby time.
I love seeing Amy and Caleb interact in a social setting that they're not used to. Like, cause like their dynamics come out and it's so like interesting to watch. Mine is either the one about friendship with Rebecca or the one with Duchess. I
Those
think
are good ones.
the one with Rebecca was because that's the first time we had introduced a guest and we could sense like the energy with like 3 people.
Yeah.
And my beautiful girlfriend.
My beautiful wife.
And then the Duchess one was just like, I think it was such a fun way to get to know Duchess. Like I wouldn't say like we're like friends, but like I think
We
she's
could
a
be
chill
friends.
person. Yeah, I would like love to like hang out with her and we like
Yeah.
talked afterwards. Like like maybe we should use this podcast to like make friends with people.
We bring in
Like
just like
people
our
we don't
mutual
know.
friends.
Exactly,
And then,
yeah.
That's so
no.
true. You guys hadn't like talked before, which is crazy.
Yeah, her impression of me was me
Yeah.
at the house party like drunk.
That's so funny. You guys talked for like 2 minutes and then
She's like, I think he has thoughts. I'm kidding.
that's such a
Duchess,
Duchess thing.
you're
That's
amazing.
so
I love
funny. Okay, I love this question so much. I like found it recently. If you knew you wouldn't fail, what would you do?
Wait, I want you to answer that question first because I don't know where you're going with that.
Okay.
Like, is this just
So,
my dream?
Yeah, like if you knew anything you did in life, you wouldn't fail, what would you do? Like basically I guess the question's asking like, is there anything you're afraid to do because you're afraid to fail? For example, with like content creation, there's this series that I'm brewing right now about my healing process, and I'm just trying to like formulate how I want to tell the story. And part of me is like kind of scared that like no one cares, no one watches it, no one engages, which again is fine. Like it's multifaceted. Like yes, it is for myself. Yes, it is because I just like documenting. Yes, it is because I like editing. It is because I just like piecing together, you know, like a short piece of content like that. Like it's fun for me. Yes, that exists. And it also exists where I'm like, yeah, I do want it to reach people and like build a community of girlies who are processing together or like can support one another, can support me, or like maybe I can inspire someone else to think a certain way or do a certain thing, you know? But for that to happen, it would require people to find my content in a way. If I weren't afraid of failure, then I would just like full send my stuff because I would know that there is a community that would receive it. But because I feel like I don't have that, which you need to do it in order to get there, but because I'm like don't have that right now, there's like this barrier of like I feel like a fool talking, like doing the voiceover and like talking to a group of people that doesn't exist, you know?
Wait, so is the barrier for you to doing this you're afraid of failing, or the fact you don't have like a concrete like a plan yet?
Afraid of failing. I'm like developing a plan and I have it.
So you're probably gonna do it.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna do it, but
so
it's
you're
like
full sending no matter what.
yeah, I will be. But there
I was gonna
is
say,
like, that
do you
failing
need me
there.
to push you to do it? Timetables.
No, yeah, like I'm totally gonna just do it, but there's still gonna be that like fear.
I see. Okay. In that case, like I got some funny ones, but I got some serious ones.
Do both.
I'm getting closer to the fact that I do want to do a PhD at some point. I'm getting closer. I'm every day like
Works for 3 weeks. It's like
that, and also that like my education, like I'm like seeing more things I'm passionate about. My professors phrased it as like a PhD shouldn't be like a way for you to like make more money. It should be something you truly want to just deep dive in. And I feel like I'm finding some of those topics right now. Funny answer, become an NBA player. Serious answer, cure cancer. Funny answer, become an actor. Like I think theater is so much fun. But I don't think I would take your theater classes. I have other priorities in life right now.
tattoo.
Like this podcast. But no, hey, I'm excited for your series.
Thanks.
All right, my question for you. Now that we're halfway through our podcast journey, what are some things you have learned about yourself making this podcast? Because, you know, we're on the other side of it now. We're actually
Like in it.
we're in it.
Yeah,
I can go first if you want to think about it.
sure.
I swear too much. Something I'm trying to work on. I was reviewing our podcast today, and I'm like, oh my God, I said fuck like 3 times in a row. And I was
so
like, that is so
funny.
irritating to hear. I was like, what did I say? I was like, something, fucking this, fuck, something. And then I said fuck, and then period. And then I was like, why did I
It's
do
like
that?
so
I don't even do that
unnecessary.
in real life. Like,
Maybe you do.
No, I don't.
No, see, when I listen to it, I don't like register it though. Like when I
register it.
'cause it's
my voice is
you.
so annoying. Okay, fine.
Yeah, I think my voice is annoying.
And also another thing I learned is how to work with someone on the same level. Does that make sense?
Like meet them where they are, or what does that mean?
Like I wouldn't say like I'm the boss, you're the boss. Like we're equal like individuals. But what that is also like sharing responsibilities, like understanding like that both our ideas carry weight and both our decisions carry weight. Because there's been times that in the past where like we've made a decision and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I totally would have done it this way. But like look at us now, like we're here where we are because we made whatever decisions that we made. And it's just like as much as you're a control freak, I think I'm a control freak too. So like giving up a little bit of that, like, you know,
Like my way.
yeah. Like my way or the
highway.
God, we're turning into the same person. Yeah.
What things would you have done differently, or like that you wanted to do differently?
I can't think off the top of my head,
Okay.
but I just remembered there are certain points, I think earlier maybe, where I was like, ugh.
I feel like we had some disagreements about like marketing. Oh no, I remember. Well, I don't know if this is what you're thinking about. I'm just trying to think of like what
Wait,
parts.
no, go for it.
Yeah, what parts of our podcast journey we really had like differing opinions on, and the one that I could think of right now is like focusing on video versus focusing on audio.
But wait. But even then, right now, I don't think we like focus on audio. I think we make minor edits to make it a little better. You know what I mean?
Oh, I guess when I edit, I don't look at the footage at all.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm watching the footage as I edit.
I only listen to it.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. But yeah, I can't think of any right now, but
It's okay.
maybe at our next reflection, we'll have gone to more fights.
Okay, yeah, I think for me, I say like so much, and honestly, I haven't even tried to not say it that much, but the other thing is, well, I kind of knew this, but it's just like exemplified in a podcast, but I pause a lot when I talk.
You do pause.
Yeah, so, and no, literally when I'm editing and it's like all consistent and it's like yours, I'm like, how does he constantly make noise out of his mouth?
Make noise?
Or like, how do you like so eloquently just continuously go with your thought? Like I say word by word sometimes and I have to like stitch it all together.
Wait, I feel like, this is episode what? Like,
we just finished 14, so this is 15.
oh, that's amazing. Wow.
Wow, it's crazy.
That's not even that many though, if you think about it.
Yeah.
But like, even I watched our very first one just like,
Oh
as a
my
joke.
gosh.
We're such like different speakers already.
Wait, really?
And I feel like the first episode is so awkward because we were just like, oh, like we're here to talk about and shoot the shits. But now it's just like, we're just talking. We're like on a mic and whatnot. Or even the first time we got the mics,
Oh yeah.
we were just like,
that's true. Oh,
God.
that's true.
That was so annoying to edit.
Yeah.
Not you, me too. Like
No,
we were
yeah,
both just
yeah.
fucking like, Or even like looking back, the Mark and Annie episode where we had the one mic in the middle. I
Oh
was like,
my
that's
God.
crazy we even attempted to do that.
Yeah, what the heck? That's so funny. What else did I learn? With editing, I think it's gotten a lot faster, which is nice. Because even this week, I was like, I started late because the footage wouldn't load onto my computer or I couldn't transfer it. So then I ended up getting it like Monday night. So then I think I edited 5 minutes Monday night. I edited 30 minutes Tuesday. And I was like, Adrian, I'm going to need till Thursday because usually we do Wednesday as like the first draft. But then I got it out on Wednesday.
Wait, you're so much better at editing.
Yeah, I think in the beginning it took like,
Oh my God.
So
Do you want
long.
to hear some tea?
what?
Okay, so in the past, when you used to take so long to edit,
Uh-huh.
I was like, is it because she doesn't care about the podcast as much as I do?
Whoa!
But now, like, working with you, I know it's
Yeah.
just like you're just learning. Like, now you're like I know you care about the podcast.
Yeah.
But it's just like now seeing you, like, getting things out in like 2 days, I'm like, this is like perfect.
Like,
you
oh
know?
yeah. I think does part of it, like after you started editing, was part of it like understanding what it takes to edit the
Well,
podcast?
not even. I think it's understanding you as a person.
Oh.
Because for me, I could just sit in my room for like hours at a time and just like break my back and just cut.
Yeah.
But to some degree, like me doing that, there's a level of, for example, like creativity or like quality that I'm not, that you are. But the fact that you can now do that in such a shortened like time span, like that's something I know I never could do. And that's why I'm
I
like,
see.
I understand now and I'm like equally like admiring you and also like good job.
Well, thank you. Sorry to have caused doubt in the beginning of our podcast
And
relationship.
we keep fighting. I have to live with her. There she goes, not editing her fucking podcast. See, I said the F word again. Let's just do a heavy one really fast.
Okay.
Because we're going to have to do another episode on this again.
Okay.
Would you join Cornerstone again if you could?
Yeah. Would I do it differently? Maybe. I think starting out. Oh, okay. Okay, let me see my piece before you get. There's like
I'm
stuff
not going to
brewing.
say no, but again, this is like, we need another episode for this
Okay,
at
yeah.
some point. With Annie, maybe. And Sabrina, we'll see.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that would.
She would have to.
Yes. That would be a great perspective. I think I wish because I became a small group leader my sophomore year and then was a small group leader the rest of the years, and I had only become Christian for a year. So
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I think I wish I just like was a member for a little longer.
I'm along the same lines. I wish I started serving later, and I wish I never became coordinator. I think if I maybe served junior, senior year and left it as that.
Mm-hmm.
Also, but it was COVID our senior year. So, like,
Yeah.
in the perfect world, we were all in person. COVID never happened. But I would have served junior, senior, never became a coordinator.
What about being coordinator?
You
was
just get so caught up in, again, this is
Like
another
politics?
episode. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're working with 2 other individuals.
Yeah.
Like, imagine this, but you're running, like, you're managing, like, 20 other, like,
A
employees
little
almost.
village.
And we're all kids.
Yeah, that's so hard.
But yeah,
Oh
we
my
can.
gosh. Yeah, that'll be another
I want to
episode.
hear Annie's perspective on
I
coordinating
wanna
too.
I wanna hear Sabrina's too.
God.
Okay,
all right.
that's
Sorry.
cute. Okay, next question. Being in love, Adrian, is it worth the hype?
I think you should answer if it was worth the hype.
You know what? Every single time I come on here, I'm like, I've learned so much in my healing process, which is so true. Even in this past week, like when I tell you a week ago, that was like when I hit a low. And now only a couple days later, I'm like, the tables have turned. Basically, I think I appreciate the idea of like a relationship or like what that means so much more than maybe I have in the past, because now I know what it's like to be by myself, and I can appreciate like, okay, when I do have a person, like I'll really know the difference between like now and then. Yeah, I feel like it totally is worth the hype.
I agree. No, I think like when you find that love again with a new person, it's gonna be so different and so amazing. But also with that, your understanding of love is gonna change.
Totally, yeah.
I look at this question as like how lucky we are to have met someone who we can say we loved.
Mm-hmm.
Like there are still like individuals out there who've never experienced that. I like know people who've been in a relationship but never been in love. Like they're reflecting now and they're like, oh, how could I have caught that love, you know?
Yeah.
So our exes, at the end of the day, they were good people, I think,
Mm-hmm.
and that version of us needed them in that moment.
Yeah.
So I think it's just nice to look back and be like we were in love, you know, and like it was a good time, you know.
Yeah. No regrets.
No regrets. All right. How much time does it take to edit your podcast? Would it be fun if we just talked over our workflow and like
Oh
responsibilities?
yeah, we should totally. This is a reflection of the pod so far. I feel like even like how we've collabed has changed too. But that's like a nice,
Really?
in the sense that like what I think is nice about the way we work is like everything is flexible, or everything is like
Yeah,
we're just
yeah.
experimenting with things.
Yeah.
And I feel like that should never not be a thing, because we're always going to be going through different phases of our life, or just like different things. Maybe work is extra, whatever, 1 week or 1 month. So it's nice to like have a partner in crime that's like understanding of that. Workflow wise, like our schedule during the week.
Yeah. So our episodes come out on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Rebecca has been a huge help because she posts reels on Wednesday and
like,
Thursday?
Tuesday and Thursday, something like that.
Tuesday and
Or
Thursday.
1 to 2 times a week, and she also makes the reels, which is really
Rebecca's
nice.
been a huge help. Like
Yeah,
she'll
she's awesome.
look at our episodes from the previous week, and then I don't give any input anymore because I'm just like, that creative shit Sarah can deal with.
Honestly, even I'll like give some suggestions, and then she'll pick like a different one that's like really good. So I'm like, you got it.
All of our reels have been like good. Like we've had a couple like in the 4,000s to 3,000s,
Yeah.
and I'm like, Rebecca has a really good eye for content.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, anything creative, you've basically just like done solo. You don't ask input from me anymore, and that's completely fine. I think we're just
Playing to our strengths.
Yeah.
Yeah. Adrian takes over the content planning, so every week he'll look ahead and be like, okay, which guests or episodes are coming up, and then for the week of he'll like plan the outline of the content. And we kind of did that because in the beginning we both were working on the content, and it got to a point where it was kind of weird because we both knew what we were talking about, so it didn't feel that spontaneous of a conversation. It was like, okay, we both know the next point is like this. So part of the reason of why we kind of had one person take over more of that was, one, because it would be, I feel like, a better conversation flow, and two, even just like bandwidth, like that does take a lot of bandwidth as well, and like brain power to be able to research stuff and come up with that. But then like my portion is like editing and the marketing and like uploading, so that also takes that bandwidth.
Dude, like, oh my god, like doing this podcast has made me realize like you actually have to sit down and write like what you want to do and like plan content. Like it's like a lot of these podcasts you see, even though it seems like it's just like, oh, we're just having a conversation, like we've done like our own research, and we're like, it's a whole process to just sit, like, oh my god, one of our podcast episodes I planned like the day before and it was dog shit. I was like, I can't remember. It was really early on because I was like, oh, I can probably just squeeze it out in like a day. And then like now I actually like sit on the weekends to like open my Google Doc and I'll just like type in ideas, delete some ideas, write some like draft questions and whatnot, you know. So
yeah,
it's
appreciate what you do. I know it's
both ways, like power. But also like we've done enough of each other's job that if we needed to pick up the slack, we could totally jump into each other's roles.
Yeah, that's been pretty cool. In terms of like for me editing the podcast, so I like to break it up into chunks where ideally I spread it over 3 days, and typically our episodes are like an hour, so I try to do like edit up to 20 minutes per day. That way I get it basically done in 3 days. But yeah, it's been getting a little faster. Oh, and I would say to edit 20 minutes, low-key can take up to 2 hours.
But also, I think you're very peculiar about what you like take out versus like I've heard other podcasts where they keep like the ums and the pauses, right? So
that's
like
true.
Sarah's literally going through every single word, every single like sound, and we're adjusting people's voices. We're like cutting like double repeats and whatnot, like the ums or like the sometimes, I mean, but you know.
Yeah, it's mostly like the longer pauses, or if there's an excessive amount of like. Oh, something that I realized that you do sometimes is you'll like triple say a word.
Oh no, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
So sometimes I cut out like the first two.
Remember my or.
Iconic.
All right, should we do one more? I mean, we could just open it up. Like, is there anything else you want to say to the audience, to me, to like about our podcast? I think going forward, I hope like this energy that you have for our podcast and this drive, that you also find space to expand your own like personal brand. Because for me, like I'm not really on like I'm 1,000,000% not an influencer or a creator. Well,
you're a creator.
Creator's different.
You're creating.
I think I create things, but I would never go to that extent of be like, oh, I'm an influencer, I'm a creator. Like my Instagram account is literally just like shits and giggles. But like I think I see so much potential for you. You have all these ideas and whatnot. So I hope you like find the opportunity and time to like I need to pee so bad.
Oh my god,
that's so awkward.
This is the point.
You see me like waddling back and forth?
Yeah, that's how you know. Okay, pause. Relieved.
I am relieved.
Well, to your earlier point, thank you. I appreciate that. This is like going back to you gaslighting yourself about not having the energy and just like the transition phase that you're in. Low-key, I feel like I relate to that in the sense that over the past 3 months, literally, I feel like I've been doing nothing because I feel like I haven't been able to find the motivation to do anything, or like even things that I like and stuff. I just like can't show up. Literally the biggest.
But also, wait, you said the last 3 months?
Yeah.
Girl, you broke up 3 months ago. What are you supposed to do?
Exactly. I know. Yeah. So, but then literally in the past 2 days, I felt so productive and like I've been actually doing things for myself and whatever, and it feels so nice. So
monetize your pain.
I just want to say that to give yourself some grace too, because you're totally in transition.
I'm okay. I'm just putting you on blast so our viewers can be like, where the hell is Sarah's like content?
Thanks.
Timetable.
But yeah, I guess to you guys and the viewers, seriously, thanks so much for, even if you watch like 2 minutes or the whole thing, like
or even 2 seconds,
literally, even if you click or just consider Like, thank you.
Wait, what do you think is the best setting to enjoy our content?
Probably
what are you envisioning our viewers are doing when they're listening? Or I guess they're watching, huh?
That's a
'Cause our
really
YouTube-
good point.
No one watches us on. No one listens to us on Spotify.
Yeah, there's probably like 3 plays on Spotify.
Is it still like that? Have you checked?
I haven't checked. I just stopped checking because I was like,
I'm curious now.
yeah, we could see. Maybe it's like 5,000. I'm kidding.
Then we should be canceled.
We should be canceled by now. That's a good question. I have not thought about that.
I'm imagining like sunset lamp, a glass of wine, playing Combino.
What? Should we do that tonight?
No, I have work.
Oh, you can't even play Combino.
I want to eat my sushi and watch football.
Oh, that's so you.
Fuck you. Yeah, go love yourself.
Thanks, I will.
Wait, echoing Sarah's point, I was like, we used to have this auditorium in Purdue where we'd fill, like, we did our, like, cornerstone meetings in. And we had about, like, 100-ish members at some point to, like, fill the room. And then I'm like, we're at about 100 subscribers. And to think that, like, if we were to stand in front of that room, like, our subscribers would fill every single seat in that room.
Whoa.
And I'm just like, that's low-key a lot of people.
Actually, yeah. Wait, yeah, imagine. Wait. Okay, so it's not even like 100 subs. Like, the views that we're getting is like in the hundreds.
Right.
Like, some of our videos have
Right.
like 3, 4, 500. Like, if you imagine hopping on a Zoom and seeing 300 participants,
Right.
I'd be shitting my pants.
And it's like, it's all perspective.
Yeah.
Also, another thing I think in my mind is like, you know how when we go to those birthday parties, like our friend Danny, for example, he had 50 people.
Yeah.
And it was like low-key kind of packed.
Yeah.
But then you got to double that for 100. Like, it's just
True.
like,
a lot of bodies.
it's a lot of bodies. A lot of beautiful people in there.
A lot of beauties in
You
there. Yeah, that's true. We should celebrate though. Like, get a little slice of cake or something.
Should we do our next reflection episode? 500?
Like 200.
Hell no!
It doesn't grow that fast.
But but then I think at some point it does become easier.
Yeah, it'll be exponential. But I feel like the first 500 is like kind of hard to get.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I'm delusional, so.
We love that. We need
We
that
have the
energy.
one that's actually a creator, and we have the one that just believes he's like
Oh, yeah, no,
fucking
honestly.
God.
And there's no in between.
There's no in between.
But no, we'll find a spot in between. I think it's good to be delusional, especially about content. Like, you just gotta believe, and you just
don't
gotta
worry,
do.
I am delusional.
You'll carry us in that aspect.
I love Rebecca.
Are you deluding yourself?
Oh no, I like love.
I like love
Rebecca.
Rebecca.
All right, should we end?
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah, that wasn't bad.
What do you mean?
I'm kidding.
Excuse me.
That wasn't that bad. Oh my god.
One F word said the whole podcast. I win.
Any announcement?
Well, I mean, I'm gonna pitch Sarah a series, and if she goes through with it, we'll have some interesting content off the top of my dome. But other than that, no interesting announcements.
This is again Adrian saying we have some interesting podcasts coming up.
We might have something. We're not sure. I'm not sure because it depends on her like response.
Okay.
But
Now
I
I'm
think it
nervous.
could be interesting. I think it could be.
Well, I'm excited.
But I'm not gonna tell you right now because I want to go eat my sushi. And
Okay, that's
watch
fine. And
football.
watch football. That's
I'll tell
and then
you
play
on
some baseball while you're
Sunday.
at it.
Dude, I haven't played my Xbox in so long. I'm
No
so sad.
way. Let's play Jackbox
No, I'm gonna watch football.
and eat your sushi. I
And then
got
maybe
it.
come out of my room and say hi to you guys.
Okay. Thanks. Okay. Well, we have some good things to look forward to, I guess. I can't believe this is 15 of, we said 25 for the first benchmark.
Oh my God, there's also a possibility we don't go past 25.
Why? Oh, this year?
No, as
Oh,
in like there's a possibility we hit 25 and we're like we don't want to do this anymore. Hey, you never know.
We could.
But I'm optimistic. I think so far we enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it does take. It's like a weekly thing. So it's like, a very big part of
Our
our
lives.
daily lives. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Which is not bad, but it's like, I have to reassess.
It's like at the end of the day, like this is like fun, but
Mm-hmm.
it's like the amount of effort and energy we need to put in every week to like uphold it. It's like we have to be willing to do this,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's still like work and energy and meetings and
Wait, what would you do with this time if you Like all the time that you spend on podcast stuff.
Honestly, probably hanging with you guys more, like the roommates.
Oh, I don't know what I would do. I feel like
Work
I'm
on your
so,
own personal brand.
yeah, I would. I probably would. Well, I should, but I feel like I've gotten so used to fitting this into my weekly routine that if this were to go, it'd be like another like hole that I would have to fill. And I don't know if I would fill it with my personal stuff
No, I get that. I get that.
because, again, the accountability is with myself rather than this. I have accountability with someone.
I'm just like the other day, I was like 2 CGs ago, I was like in the back of my head, I was like, oh my God, I need to go home early because I need to prep for Joyce's podcast.
Oh.
And that was the first time I've ever encountered that. I was like, I feel like I can't hang out with my like friends because I need to go
you
put
need
the
to sacrifice.
podcast first. But I think that's a commitment like the two of us like know that we're making.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I mean, that's the first time it's ever happened. I hope it never
Yeah.
happens again.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, I kind of see that as like, I hope this doesn't come off as like rude, but because I would think this for myself. I'd be like, okay, next time I have to make sure that I just get it done before.
No. I
Because like
completely
you
agree.
knew
I
that,
completely agree.
yeah. But same with me in editing. That's why I run myself so hard sometimes when I edit because I'm like, no, Adrian, like this is my fault. Like I should have prioritized this over
Yeah.
other things, but I just didn't. So that's why I stay up so late to do it. Even though you're
Yeah.
like, don't stay up late, but I'm like, no, it's like my fault. So
It's not even that. I think like with our string of like guest episodes, I feel like in my head I'm like I have to make this a good experience for them, like as much as I
Oh.
can,
yeah.
you know. So like especially like Joyce, who's like a close friend of ours,
Mm.
and like our guests, if we like when we have them again, it's just like
Mhm.
another level of preparation.
Yeah.
That I feel like we as a team need to make more, you know.
Mm. I think it's
Yeah.
nice when we sprinkle them out and like do something like the Reddit stories, for example, because I feel like that's like way less. Oh, I feel like prep on like Reb's part too, but even just like finding stuff is kind of a different workflow.
Totally agree. Yeah.
So stuff like that is nice to
Yeah.
that we're learning to like help
Diversify our
ourselves.
profile. Okay.
Okay.
Goodbye.
But thanks again and always for listening. With that,
TTYL.